We're here in Woburn, Massachusetts at the Horn Pond Water Facility, and we have a mobile boiler, and we're going to go inside and we're going to meet with Phil Christopher as well as Alex Carnes, and we're going to talk about one of the coolest things that we've ever been a part of. So come on inside.
Welcome to the Horn Pond Waterworks in Woburn, Massachusetts. My name is Phil Christopher, and
I'm Alex Carnes.
Yes, and behind us is our 1908 Platt Ironworks double expansion coreless engine.
This is a 3.5-story machine from 110 years ago.
The reason this is here is to pump fresh water to the city water header of Woburn. This pumped about 5 million gallons in 20 hours up to the water reservoir on top of the mountain over there. I think it's called
Horn Pond Mountain.
Yep. Horn Pond Mountain up there. That would be the city water header. And the water from the lake would come through a sand pit underground, which is directly below this engine, and the engine would draw from there. So water would be filtered before it got pumped up there.
And they have a beautiful girly scientific balance over there, which they use to meter the chemicals to treat the water and measure the specific gravity of water samples. That in and of itself is a priceless relic of this place. It's something that was calibrated every year or every few years by the U.S. Department of Weights and Measures to be accurate. This place is full of treasure. We heard a rumor it was here, and after quite a lot of chasing that rumor, we found it, and we were told that city officials had, the ones who knew about it anyway, had taken care of it for quite a long time and sort of kept it a secret to protect it. And we told them, well, we have experience with these types of engines before, why don't we try to get it running? And they agreed.
Yes, us being us, we were all over this. And work commenced on June 5th. June 5th.
We needed a boiler because a lot of people, especially museums, are under the misconception that these large engines can be rotated with an electric motor or compressed air, which is extremely harmful for them. You have to run them on steam. The original boilers were long gone as of the 1950s, and we said we needed a boiler. I said, I know exactly who to call. So, yeah, absolutely. For an old engine like this, where the load is variable, especially when you're testing it and experimenting with it, a fire tube boiler is preferable, especially when you don't have a power plant that's optimized for the machine. The load is not constant, so we said, we'd like a 100 horsepower fire tube boiler of some description with all the support systems in the trailer. You guys had exactly what we needed. We got exactly what we ordered, and it performed perfectly.
Because of the nature of this technology, because of its robustness and simplicity, and because of the build quality, and a little bit of luck, because of its location, this managed to last through 2 world wars.
This machine is very interesting because it was built by a company in Ohio. The pieces, this giant A-frame is one casting. They brought it all up here on trains and horse and cart. They dug a hole in the ground, they built the machine, and then they built the building on top of it. This one went out of service in 1932, which was very early. Comparable machines, such as the ones in Chestnut Hill in Boston, ran until 1976. Most of these ran for 100 years, never needing a spare part.
You mentioned the steam boiler, and that, in my opinion, played an extremely minor role in all this. This is such a very cool and unique application. We don't get phone calls for this type of need, but I'm certainly glad that you thought of us, and I can't thank you for the opportunity to be a part of this in a very, very small way. It was just providing steam, but this is getting this thing going. It's a piece of history. It's a piece of Massachusetts history. It's pretty significant, and we're really appreciative that we got to play a real tiny role. So thank you.
Absolutely.